It's Tuesday, May 13th, 2014. And I'm still a little bit upset with finally having an encounter with the ultra-fundamentalist, dogmatic extremists on the left in the fundamentalist religion known as Atheists of Utah. And their de facto exclusion of anybody who doesn't agree with their ultra-leftist fundamentalist position, dogmatic position, I think that is concerning. It's not surprising when you consider how other religions operate, but it's sad, really. So, I think my main advice to the conservatives is this: put more of your energy into secular reasons to support the social and political, if you feel so inclined, the social aspects of your worldview. Because the intellectual underpinnings behind, or the intellectual support behind the God position, that there's some man in the sky, or man or giant termite in the sky who creates universes even, that's mostly gone. Now, the fundamentalist secular left have made the mistake in assuming that that means everything's up for grabs, when it isn't. And the just going to the exact opposite side, which they've done and which they advocate for, like using the same tonalities as any extreme fundamentalist, with heresy trials and belief maintenance and dogmatism and kicking out people who don't agree with their social agenda. That shows that can you be good without God? That's a good question. I think you can, but it's a lot easier if you've not been exposed to to either side in the first place. The ultra-right in America has poisoned the well of advocating for otherwise good and valuable things. Because of their strong, glomming on to people like Joseph Smith, Brigham Young, and even glomming on to their gods, that's kind of, and their extreme things they say, like in Mormonism, where they say that masturbation, you have to confess to some Mormon bishop for that, and claiming that masturbation could lead to homosexuality. That extreme response has actually hurt the ability of people who have come to their senses with regard to, the non-truth of your God. It's hurt our ability to argue for otherwise good and valuable human morals. Even when we come up with those of us who are more moderate or conservative socially, your actions, continuing actions today, with regard to things like masturbation, you're hurting our ability to advocate for good family values. To fight against the abuse that comes from the left when you assume that everything is equal when it isn't. Gay sex is not as valuable as straight sex. Gay marriage is not as valuable as straight marriage. Gay adoption might be abusive to the kids sucked into that lifestyle. You don't like it? Too bad. Maybe that's just the way it is. Maybe a child needs a mommy and a daddy. So, now when you just examine on face value what the groups do who are trying to help people, quote-unquote, recover from religion. Yes, they're doing some good. They advocate that people kind of think rationally about whether there's a God or not, or whether there's evolution or not, but they, at the same time, help people think completely irrationally when it comes to social issues. Family values, raising children, the value of having children, the value of raising children in a normal household, the value of having a mother and a father, the value of having children yourself. All that. At the same time that the secular, fundamentalist secular groups are advocating for something reasonable. Yes, it's reasonable to discount the existence of the Mormon God. They, at the same time, advocate for unreasonable things. That everything is equal when it isn't. Now, the reason I'm talking so much about gay stuff is because Atheists of Utah, I mean, you'd think they'd change their name to Gay Atheists of Utah because they've been elected by Q Salt Lake, a magazine for gay people here. They've been elected as the premier religion, the favorite religion of that magazine, and a runner-up for the favorite social group. So that's why we have to talk about more gay stuff than normal, is because the atheist group here is essentially a branch of the Stonewall Center. Why is that a problem? Because when you have people from that worldview, from that position, those people are just as much ultra fundies as any other fundie. A fundie is a person who doesn't want to listen to evidence, who uses name calling and all the tools of religion to exclude people from their world, from speaking. People in that worldview, they are so upset with the extreme response of religions like Mormonism, which is admittedly abusive. They're so upset they jump to the complete opposite side and say, hey, every type of love is the same when it isn't. Every type of sex is the same when it isn't. Every type of marriage is the same when it isn't. Okay? So both sides are poisoning each other, fucking up each other, and fucking up the general argument of, otherwise good human morality and thriving and happiness, moving forward, survival. The Unitarian Church, they might as well be a branch of the Shaker religion with how many new people are going to them. And then let's examine what happened with the ex-Mormon Foundation. Yes, they talk good things about exposing the lies of the Mormon Church with regard to Joseph Smith and so on. But then they exclude kids from their conferences. Why is that? Because the leader of that religion, the ex-Mormon Foundation, de facto religion, the leader of that religion goes to the Portland Humanist group where they send their kids up to the top room away while the old gray-haired farts talk in the bottom part of the room of the building. Just like the Unitarians send their kids away. But in the Mormon church, you have a situation where they don't send their kids away during the main meeting. So you'd think that the woman who heads up the ex-Mormon Foundation wouldn't want to send kids away. She'd want to have kind of a situation where it's similar to the Mormon church, where you have your kids there with you while you're listening to someone talk. So the anti-children mentality of the left creeps in to the ex-Mormon Foundation because the leader of that group is an apparent lefty. Anti-children lefty. Okay. Now, the anti-children situation with the left is not just there. It's pervasive. The children of the 60s they went to university. They're teaching your kids. They're teaching your kids that they shouldn't have children because of environmental concerns. They're teaching your kids that having children is not really valuable. Listen to assholes like P.C. Myers. The academia is filled with leftist fundamentalists who want to help your children learn to not have children themselves. My own sister was a victim of that ideology. She still is. It's a death cult, liberal death cult. Okay? So God may not hate fags, but on the other hand, evolution by natural selection may have a few concerns about them. The Mormon God may not exist, the Catholic God may not exist, but religion is a natural phenomenon, and so fully natural human morality may exist in a religion. That's the tough nut to chew on for the ultra-liberal left. So my advice for the right, as you're thinking, oh, what the fuck are we going to do? The people have come up with otherwise pretty reasonable arguments for discounting the existence of our God. You need to do a bit more work on having secular reasons for supporting your the morality that exists in your religion. The otherwise good and valuable morality. Now you can drop the extremism like, forcing kids to confess for masturbation, or, thinking that gay people are going to hell. That's way too extreme. Okay? But on the other hand, advocate for the value of having kids. Advocate for normal families. Advocate for kids being raised in a normal family with a mother and a father. Daniel Dennett, whether he would advocate for all this or not, doesn't really matter. He's helped us learn that religion is a natural phenomenon. That fact cuts both ways. Fully natural, fully useful human morality can and does exist within a religion. Why? Because people in religions are humans. Humans do natural things regardless of what comes out of their mouth about saying, oh yes, I'm doing it because of my God. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're doing it because you're human. Because you're in a social group that helps kind of circle around some otherwise pretty damn valuable stuff. Now, you also might have some abusive stuff in there, but okay, let's be honest about that. But jump into the complete opposite side, like what happened with my uncle from Manti, Utah, who went to San Francisco, got AIDS, died, and left his straight family with no father. Jump into the complete opposite side, like my gay nephew, who readily accepts, readily accepts a convicted pedophile into his friend circle, and his friends do too, and viewing the other, incredibly narcissistic people in that culture. Jumping to the complete opposite side is just as abusive, maybe even more. So, can you be good without God? Yes, but you But one prerequisite for that is to not join not jump to the other side in response to leaving your conservative religion. Not assuming that the exact opposite side is a panacea. It ain't. It's just as abusive, maybe even more. Mr. Leader of Atheists of Utah, in your fight against Mormonism and the Catholic Church, you're abusing people just as much as they are. That's my opinion. Got your head in the sand. You don't like listen to people questioning your new religion, then the righties do. So you're just as much a cult leader as anybody else, I guess. Seems that way to me. Otherwise, you wouldn't operate a closed forum on Facebook where you just happily and joyfully, as I observed firsthand, joyfully kick people out who disagree with you. And the people are so stupid, those religionists, so stupid. Well, if religion's a natural phenomenon, maybe it's not so fucking stupid. Huh? What do you think of that? Check out Daniel Dennett. Check out Steven Pinker. Maybe they're more liberal than I am, but who cares? I just want to be honest. I want to be honest about abuse on the right and on the left. Okay. So let's move forward with being human. Drop the crap on both sides, not throw out the baby with the bathwater, and kind of figure out where the truth may lie. Okay, have fun.